Check, check. Today I'm gonna show you guys how I made this stamped style bass house drop. So obviously Stamped Records is one of the most highly recognized future house labels. They do bass house as well. They have raised so many cool new bass house artists and just future house artists pushing the boundaries. I just love what they're doing over there. And obviously, if you didn't know, it's the imprint label of Martin Garrix. So yeah, this is a free FLP. You can download it. First link in the description. Some stuff might not work the way they're intended to. If so, just let me know in the comments. The actual bass line and melody and everything will be consolidated into an audio file. These are SERUM presets. If you want access to the SERUM presets, there's also a link in the description of this video where you can buy my SERUM pack. I'll tell you more about that later in the video. Right now, let's get into the drums. Alright, so first we got this kick from my free drum kit. Very punchy, very short. I quite like it. We're layering it with a secondary kick that we're using as a tom. So together the kicks sound like this, and they basically, that's kind of this kind of bass house style. They create the rhythm, the melody. It's key to get this right. First of all, you'll see there's a little bit of swing on these, just a tiny bit. This would be without swing. This is with swing. It just makes it quite a lot more swaggy, and it makes your track a lot more danceable, in my opinion. And at this BPM range, we're talking 126 to 129. Swing just works really well. I use it quite a lot. You can hear actually the secondary tom, kick tom. We've just slightly reduced the attack, so you get a bit like variation. Now, yeah, if we look at the tom itself, we're just making sure we're not hitting the sub. That's kind of important. When you do cut off with a parametrics EQ like this, make sure you have linear phase and high quality sampling on. This just makes sure you get no artifacts, you get no weirdness going on. There's a whole science behind it. Just make sure you have linear phase mode on. And yes, we need that space in the sub, obviously, for our sub and for our kick. See, our kick is also hitting the sub. And that's nice. That's nice. A kick should hit the sub. All right, moving on to the next piece of our drums. We've got this clap here. And I've just enhanced the upper treble end of it a little bit and lowered everything low, mids, and below. And then this love filter you'll see here, that's just to introduce the clap in the build-up. So we're just modulating the filter cutoff. Now, what I kind of like to do here, and it's just to make your drums really crunchy and punchy, I put them into a drum bus and I compress them. So together the kick and clap compressed sound like this. You get that Valentino Khan punchy style. Without the compressor, it's like this. A lot cleaner, but this way, we're hitting, lower levels, but it still sounds just as loud, if not even louder. It will just basically force the kick and the clap to merge together and create a new sound. I kind of like that. It's a style choice. And then when we add the toms to that, you basically have the full song. I know that sounds silly, but I promise you that's just a matter of fact. Next up, we've got a hat. Pretty much use this hat in all of my tutorials as far as I know. If we take a look, we're just basically hitting high mids and above. In my opinion, you have a choice to make. If you have a very high-pitched synth or lead, what do you want in the treble? You have to make a choice. Do you want your hats and your drums to occupy that upper treble, or do you want your lead to occupy your upper treble? In my opinion, I would give the upper treble to the drums just for a clean sound, and then kind of low pass the lead so that it doesn't hit that upper treble. Just a minor thing like that. It might not work for you, but it's just a good mixing tip. Obviously, we don't really have a lead in this, but we do have something that we'll get to later. Finally, drums wise, there's this percussion loop from my free drum kit, also linked in the description. And then when we hear all the drums together, we get this. I mean, there's also this like noise layer that's kind of an effect that's adding on to the whole thing. Instead of a crash, just kind of trying to be a bit unique here. I think that's the whole style of Stamped, just to be unique. All right, and that wraps it up for the drums. So moving on to the next part, these wubs. So this is actually a sample, but you create a wub by going into SERUM, getting yourself a sine wave. This is one way to do it. Turning one off, going here to FM from B. Turning off random to 0. Using the LFO tool to create a shape on the level here. And from that point, you can do anything you like. It's just a lot of freedom, basically. But we found this wub sample that goes like this. Without the effects. So the first effect you'll notice, we just got rid of all of the bass and below. Then we've put an OTT with about 50% depth, and we're boosting the highs and the mids. You can't see it because my OTT is bugged, but a little bit of sound goodizer to thicken it up. And then in the intro, we are low pass filtering it in the same way we're doing that to the clap. And then a little bit of reverb to kind of wash it in. So we're going in the intro from 100% wet to dry, basically 100% dry, to kind of wash it in as if it's coming from very far away, and then building up into, well, we'll get to the whole build up thing in a moment, but basically that's what the effects are on this. As long as you got yourself a side chain going, it's not too difficult to do this part. Now layering that, we've got this sub. This sub will be included actually in the FLP, in the zip file. If you have SERUM, you can go ahead and use it. It's a very simple sub. As you can see, just a sine wave, EQing out everything above, and just slight distortion to make it fatter. And then in terms of the melody, just to create some tension, we're changing octaves. So going from G sharp 2 to G sharp 3. Which is really way too high for a sub, in my opinion. At least it depends what octave your sub is playing, but as you can hear, look at the. So the G3 is basically hitting bass, but remember that our wub isn't hitting bass. You see, so you just gotta like balance the mixing here. You can be crazy with your sub and give it so much room to play if your bass doesn't, or your wub doesn't occupy that bass. Because if you don't do that, that's where people start to say, oh, this is muddy, this is messy, this is too crowded, whatever. Like, you already know the deal. Then here we are just actually kind of pitch bending. You can barely hear it, but when you go into the preset here, you'll see mono legato and then around 400 milliseconds pitch time. So it's very slight, but at the end of this note, we're actually kind of dipping the pitch down. Again, like pitch modulation, as I've been saying in all these videos, brings stuff alive, and you can do it to a sub too. Just don't go too crazy, because then you get drill. In the intro, we've got this reese also, which I will consolidate. It's part of my Metamorphosis pack. So again, if you want to play around with it, you can find it in the link in the description. And it sounds like this. Just some low pass filter on that. And then we're bringing up that low band to kind of fade it out and going into the drop. Very simple. We're just kind of following a harmony of where the vocal is. So now on that note, let's get onto the vocal. Super cool sample I found.
I'm out here looking for a good time. Only got one thing on my mind. I wanna have the night of my life. There's in my head, this movie's so fine.
And now we start to chop. So I've actually chopped this breath part to kind of get us pumped. And then there's a break, and then we get into the first phrase again.
I'm out here looking for it.
And people are like, oh, he's going to sing the thing again, but then you surprised him with a chop. Which is a cheat code for energy. I mean, I've been saying this a lot, but chopping your vocals like this, especially when it goes into the sidechain like that, it creates such a pump. And then part B. Now, as I was saying, choosing your reese melody, you know, here, it's just harmonic with the vocal.
I'm out here looking for a good time. Only got one thing on my mind. I wanna have the night of my life. There's in my head, this movie's so fine.
And then simple things, this is what you can do yourself, add on to it. I've got this like sort of building up these two effects. And then also this build up sound. Very simple. Just get yourself a Kashmir pack. Alright guys, yes, it was a little bit of a shorter video. I hope you found that useful. If you think I achieved the stamped style, let me know in the comment section below. And if I didn't, also let me know. I'd like to hear your critical feedback. You know, I'm getting better myself as a music producer by going into these styles. But again, I think the main thing is take some inspiration from all of this and make your own cool stuff. I believe in you guys and I want to hear what you guys are making. That's why I've made this Discord community where you can join up, send your music through. We all give each other feedback. We're just hanging out. We even send each other samples. So basically, we've got one big sample library, which is just a channel in the Discord chat. I also stream on YouTube and I notify people on Discord. So if you wanted the real ones, you know, make sure to join up the Discord. And also, if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Now, if you want to know how to make your mixes way louder, and just my best tips that I still stand by in order to just make your mix sound much louder, cleaner, and more powerful, then click the video that's about to pop up on screen. Anyway, guys, I'm going to play this song one more time, and I'm going to thank you again for watching this video. See ya!
I'm out here looking for a